The drawing is just a few pencil lines for the main objects, and this is on 140 pound or 300 GSM watercolor paper. Very roughly wash in the blue underpainting for the sky, and then the ground area with light burnt sienna. With vermilion and orange, make a darkish green mix and rough in the leaves of the trees, becoming lighter and more yellow lower down. Drop in some very dark green into this area, and do the same on the left side. Remember, we are not painting any details with the watercolor. It is only an underpainting for the pastel. Dry it and add more dark areas. Notice how roughly this is being painted. Add even more dark as the previous colors lighten as they dry out. Now we can use a rough sponge to indicate the loose leaves by dabbing it against the sky area. With a light blue-grey mix made from ultramarine and red, sketch in the tree shadows across the path. And then with some burnt sienna, paint in some texture for the foreground and the shadow area of the trees on the right. Touch up some more leaves with a sponge, and with a darker shadow mix, rough in the tree trunks. Let the edges be a bit ragged to make them look natural. Add the smaller tree, and then the two trees on the right. You should be able to see the pencil lines between the watercolor layer to make it easier. With a damp brush, lift out the paint on the right side of the tree trunks for the highlights. Begin brushing in the texture in the foreground, darker in the closer foreground and getting lighter towards the distance. Warm up the foreground with a brighter burnt sienna or orange, and then with a light blue-purple mix, add the shadows or the lighter shadows across from the trees outside the picture view. Add some very light orange to the path and to the sunlit areas of the trees. Thoroughly dry the painting, as we are now finished with the underpainting. With a black pencil, lightly stroke the side of it over the shadow areas as well as in the foreground, and this begins to add texture to the ground surface, etc. With a white pencil, begin to draw in the highlights and the rough texture of the bark. See how the rough texture on the paper is working for you. Draw in all the thin saplings and smaller tree trunks with the white pencil, and then add all the smaller branches and twigs as well. When you have done that, use the black pencil for the branches and twigs in the shadow areas. Proceed to do exactly the same for the trees on the left-hand side of the path. Now we can add the small sapling with white against the tree trunk, and then black where it goes outside the trunk area. Add the shadow to the sapling and for the main tree. Remember, the light source is from the right. Add some darker marks on the main tree trunk. There are protrusions and places where the branches have broken off. With a purple pencil, work over the previously painted shadow areas, darkening here and there to show interesting patterns on the ground. Add the shadows of the hidden trees as well. And while you're doing that, add some interesting markings to the foreground. With a pink pencil, warm up the sunlit areas on the tree trunks and branches where they catch the sunlight. For interest, add some branches protruding in from the left. It helps to point the viewer's attention into the painting. Darken up some of the main shadows across the path, and then the shadow markings on the edge of the path. With an orange pencil, start drawing in the shape of the main figure, and add in the head with a black pencil. Be very careful in not making the head too big. This is a very common mistake. The head is much smaller than one realizes. Add a second smaller figure. Don't make them the same size. If you would like to see the paint-along version of this class, head over to our website, onlineartlessons.com. Please like this video if you have enjoyed watching it, and leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe so that we can inform you when we bring out more new tutorials like this one. Thank you for watching.